Demarcus Jones. History. Knowledge. Yeah, the truth is here. Black history was a mystery. I mean, it never really made no sense to me. Like who we were before slavery, how we got here, how we came to be, or what the strategy, but like how would that be? Erase the facts that we were kings and queens, but now the cats and eyes, they were magical. Everything we touched turns in the gold. Demarcus Jones, Demarcus Jones, Demarcus Jones. The calendar won't be wrong. Demarcus Jones, Demarcus Jones, Demarcus Jones. Originals, we don't need a clone. Demarcus Jones, Demarcus Jones, Demarcus Jones. Black history, you can learn at home.
Chapter 2. Do Something Game.
Demarcus, I'm so tired of you getting in trouble at school, my mom stated. We don't have the abilities to change schools right now. It just wouldn't work with my schedule or your dad's. Mom, my teacher yells at me for everything, but she doesn't yell at my classmates. Maybe you should just remain quiet and stay seated all day, Demarcus, and then she wouldn't have anything to say. I looked at my mom in disbelief. How does she expect a 10-year-old as cool as I am to sit quiet in the classroom for 7 hours? That's impossible. Demarcus, don't look at me that way. Mama, the schoolwork is easy. My classmates are never prepared. I'm the smartest kid in my class, but I'm the only one who gets in trouble. Every time your teacher blames you for something, you agree that you did it, which means that she is not lying and you need to behave better. But Mom, I tried to explain. I don't want to hear that, Demarcus, my mom sighed. She looked like she was tired. Why don't you tell me what you learned in school today? I didn't have a chance to learn, Mama. I got kicked out of class first thing in the morning. She looked defeated. I felt bad for her. I guess she wanted to be on my side, but maybe she felt she had to agree with my teacher. I tried to keep up with the subject. Well, I asked Joey what did I miss in class, and he said that they talked about Thanksgiving. You know, about the Pilgrims and the Indians. She looked really interested, so I continued. Then he said that we hadn't discussed black people yet because the Pilgrims hadn't brought us from the jungle. After that, she looked shocked. Now, I said black people were here before then, but I couldn't remember learning anything about black people in school. It does seem like we didn't exist before slavery, even when we talk about world history. Is it true that black people didn't exist until they were brought to America from Africa? My mom now looked confused. She looked like she was searching for an answer. Black people were everywhere, baby, she answered. Well, can you tell me where I can find out more about it? Because I want to have something better to say next time. My mom still looked confused. Okay. I didn't wait for her to give me any information because it was obvious that she didn't have any. After getting ready for bed, I decided to stay up quietly in my room. My mom usually doesn't mind if I stayed up, as long as I didn't have to go to school the next day and as long as I didn't bother her. I don't have a TV in my room, and I don't have a radio to listen to either, so I decided to go into my boring closet and look through some old junk. As I looked through my messy closet, I started to think about what Joey said about black people, about what he said about my people. My whole family is black, but I've never heard anyone talk about any black history before 1619. I guess history after slavery is all we know. In my closet, I saw a box that I was not familiar with. I pulled the box past my old shoes and all the clothes that were on the closet floor. Thud! I had knocked down some of the clothes that were hanging up. I listened for my mother before I continued. "Demarcus, go to bed," she yelled. Dang, I knew she was still up. "Okay," I yelled back. I pulled the box slower than I had before, paying close attention to see if it began to pull on the other objects around the closet. I finally got it free. I saw a few old toys I played with when I was a kid. Well, when I was a younger kid. I moved all of those boring toys out the way to see what else was in the box. There were 2 old number 1 pencils that I never knew existed. There was an old notepad that smelled like mildew. Ew. Then I saw some really old coins. Where did all of this come from? It sort of felt like an old treasure. I continued to pull the objects out of the box, and I saw something pretty odd in the bottom. I moved all of the other junk out of the way so that I could pull it out of the box. It was an old piece of cloth. I pulled out the dingy white cloth to open it. It was sort of like a rag, but thin, like paper, and it felt heavy. I took it to my bed and opened it for a better look. There were a lot of funny looking pictures on it that I had never seen before, and a small flat circular stone attached. The stone was what made the cloth feel heavy. There was a needle in the middle of the stone that could spin all the way around the circle. There were many small thin lines throughout the stone, but there was nothing between the lines. It almost looked like a small clock. Maybe it was a game. I tried to pull the stone away from the cloth, but it wouldn't move. I turned the cloth upside down, whirled it around, and threw it on the ground, but it still wouldn't move. I picked up the cloth stone and put it back on my bed to examine it further. There were 3 columns of symbols, so I thought it must be a chart. At the top of each column, there was a symbol that was repeated in each row on the column. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th row each had a line appearing to represent the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 by the count of sticks. Each set of sticks also had an arc over it. I had no idea what this could be. A stone clock on top of a chart. I started to try and play with the needle in the middle, but it didn't move. "Come on, little stick, do something," I said aloud. I kept pulling and pushing, and it finally became unstuck. I flicked the little needle stick with my pointer finger, and it moved around and around until it stopped. I was getting excited that I got it to work. I was going to find out what this thing could do before the end of the night. Now that I had gotten the needle loose, it moved as if it were never stuck in the first place. "Yeah, little chart clock, let's make some magic." I put the stone on the symbol that had wavy water-like lines and an arc with 3 lines underneath. Then I flicked the little stick that was in the center of the stone, and I watched it spin until it stopped. Just as I thought, nothing happened. "Do something, game." I reached back down to touch the stone, and suddenly a bright light appeared. The light became stronger and stronger, as if I were getting closer to the sun. It became so bright that I had to shield my eyes. I sat there and waited. I didn't hear anything. Nothing was happening. Maybe it was some sort of illusion. Maybe I was dreaming. I began to peek above my arm to make sure that the light wasn't still there. Since the light was no longer too bright, I moved my arm from my face. "Where is my room?"
On the next chapter of Demarcus Jones and the Solar Calendar Animated.
My heart began to beat fast. I was scared. I was nervous.
I turned around to see how far he was, and he was right behind me.